So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to CreativeBoost Branching Out with Stephan Dyer. I'm your facilitator today. My name is Mona, and I'm the Marketing Communications Manager at Working Culture. And Working Culture is grateful to have the opportunity to collaborate with and support cultural workers in various traditional territories across Ontario. Though our office is located on land that is the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, and most recently the territory of the Mississaugas of the New Credit First Nation, we deliver programs and partner with centers that are located on different traditional territories. And as the territory which our office is located on in Toronto was the subject of the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement between the Iroquois Confederacy and the Ojibwe and allied nations to peaceably share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes, we are committed to continue those sentiments when delivering workshops or webinars and connecting with the arts and culture communities across Ontario. So a little bit about Working Culture. So Working Culture's mission is to support the people who work in the cultural sector through lifelong career development and entrepreneurial and business skills training. Most people recognize us for our job board. However, we provide the sector with various professional development programs, resources, and opportunities. For example, providing webinars such as this one to help you prepare on your journey to becoming a creative entrepreneur. And in fact, our CreativeBoost program that is available for you and to teach people in the arts and culture sector, excuse me, skills related to business training and entrepreneurship. And if you haven't registered yet for our other programs this week, we have a great lineup of online workshops and a panel session. So our online workshop, Countdown to Business, is starting tomorrow, and it's from 4 to 6 p.m. And it's a wonderful workshop to help you clarify your creative business idea. It's essentially going to help you lay down the foundation so that you can begin to start planning and maybe even start writing your business plan. So it's essentially for beginners, for people who are not familiar to the business world, and it will really help you to identify what it is that you want to do as a creative entrepreneur. So I really recommend you join in, and it is required that you attend each session because each day builds on the next. So the discussions and the content that are discussed, it will help you for the next session. So it's really recommended that you join each session. And then on the weekend, on Saturday, we do have a wonderful lineup of professional creative entrepreneurs who will be available for you to ask your questions, or if you want to receive any kinds of tips and feedback from individuals who have been working as creative entrepreneurs for many years. They're going to be available for you on Saturday. So I also recommend that you sign up for that session, and you can do that through our website, workingculture.ca/programs, and just hit the register button, and you'll be all signed up. So it's not too late to register for those, and please do. And now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Stephan Dyer. Stephan is a former banker turned comedian, TEDx speaker, and speaking coach with 300 shows in 8 countries and 18 cities. He is the proud co-founder of MalPensando, a school that helps people become funny, confident speakers. In 2017, a few months after quitting his corporate job, he was awarded the Latin Comedian of the Year prize by Latin Awards Canada after years of successful bilingual shows in Toronto, sold-out comedy workshops, and numerous awards in public speaking by Toastmasters International. In 2018, he received the Second City's Diversity Fellowship full scholarship and was invited to Malaysia to deliver a TEDx talk. In 2019, he performed at Comedy Central Fest in Mexico City and later filmed his first one-hour comedy special in Toronto. For more information, follow at Stephan Dyer everywhere. So he is available for you to connect with after this webinar. And yeah, please follow him on social media. And so Stephan, I will hand it off to you. But first I will stop my presentation so that you can start yours, and I'll do that. You can do that once I make you host. So I'll make, actually,
I think I'm good. I think I can share now.
Oh, you can? Okay, try it.
Let's see. Can you see?
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, that's great.
Perfect. Okay, so thank you very much for that introduction, Ramona. I'm very excited to be here. Since we are a smaller group, anytime you have any questions, please interrupt me because it'll make it a lot more interactive. And the whole idea is that you get a lot of value from this. So I'm going to tell you my story with a lot of insights and things that have helped me on the way. So as Steve Jobs would say, you can only connect the dots looking backwards. So you have to trust that something that you have to trust in something. You have to trust that it'll work itself out. As Mona explained, I used to work at Scotiabank for 7 years. I'm a Costa Rican and I'm a proud immigrant, now Canadian citizen. But at the time in 2017, when I came to the crossroads of whether I should quit to pursue my professional career in comedy or not, it was a very hard decision because my parents had sacrificed a lot of things, a lot for me to come to Canada to get an education. And I had a really good job at Scotiabank. I became one of the youngest senior managers in the company with my business partner, who you can see in the picture, Juan Cajiao from Colombia. We were both senior managers, and we had been doing stand-up comedy on the side for a couple of years. And the opportunity came to quit. I mean, nothing really tangible. We just were so in love with comedy and everything that it could bring to us that we quit. We quit out of nowhere. I mean, it wasn't out of nowhere. I'm going to share with you the process so that you can apply it to your own experience, and hopefully it will help you, especially during COVID times. So the purpose of this presentation is to show you how to successfully branch out and to show you the decision-making process that I endured so that you can take all these tips and hopefully apply it to you. My message is not that you have to quit your job or whatever that you're doing. It's that if you plan accordingly, you are able to be successful in something that you're currently not. You can do it part-time or you can do it full-time. So how did this whole thing come about? People ask me, well, you were a banker. How did this comedy thing come about? How did it start? And in your cases, everyone here who's in the workshop, it is, what could you do? So I'd be interested just in the chat right now. What types of things are you looking to do? Are you looking to sell your art? Are you looking to perform? Are you looking to do freelancing? Just by in the chat, I'm not sure if it's disabled or if we can see it, but if we can have people messaging, that'd be really helpful. I have some comments of what you did right on the website of what you're looking to get out of this, so I'm going to try and mention everything. And if not, again, just interrupt me. So how did this whole thing start? My idea is that one of the best ways in which you can decide what to specialize in, or your side hustle, or your freelancing, or if you want to monetize your art, is to ask yourself, where in the intersection of these three circles, that's the opportunity. So the first circle is, what am I passionate about? What do I absolutely love to do? That's the first circle. This is like a Venn diagram. The second circle is, what am I really good at? What have people told me that I'm really good at? In this case, people had told me that I was really good at communicating and making people laugh and entertaining people. That was what I was good at. Now, what was I passionate about? I was passionate about soccer, comedy, documentaries. And the third circle was, what do people need? So again, ask yourself, is there an intersection between these three circles? What am I passionate about is the first one. The second one is, what am I really good at? And the third one is, what do people need? What is there a demand for? So in the circle for me, it was performing and teaching people how to perform. But in the circle of what do people need, not a lot of people want to be comedians, but a lot of people want to learn how to public speak. So there was an opportunity there. And when we were deciding how to successfully branch out, we decided, okay, we're not the best at this. There's a lot of people, other people who are doing it. So there's obviously some competition, but how can I, before I quit, how can I improve my skills? So ask yourself right now, can I take any classes? Can I read any books? Can I offer my time to someone who is more advanced in this industry than myself, so that I can practice and learn from the best? So these were the things that were going in my mind before we quit. Making the decision, because you may not at this point know what you want to do. But if you do, we can go on to the next slide. So the next slide is the decision-making process behind such a decision. Now, a lot of people ask us, do I have to quit? Do I have to quit my current job or my part-time job to be able to do this full-time? Because it is a big risk. So it doesn't have to be that you quit everything and bet the whole house. You can start part-time and then progress to full-time. In this picture, it is myself, my business partner, Juan Cajiao, and the other founder of MalPensando, Isaac Louis. MalPensando right now has evolved into being a school that helps people become funny, confident speakers. So this is 2014, 2015, and we were just doing every show that we could for free. Well, obviously we weren't even going to get paid anyways, but we were doing all kinds of shows and showcases so that we could improve, but people could also get to know us. And if people had any feedback on our art, in this case, our comedy shows or public speaking shows, we would be able to improve on the side. So the second point in the decision-making process behind such a decision is, what is there to lose and what risks am I comfortable with? So in my case, I was 29 back in 2017, and what was I risking? So this is totally my view, but maybe you agree, maybe you don't, but I'm just sharing a totally open book. So at the time I was 29, and my decision-making process was, I don't have any kids. I'm not married. I don't have a mortgage. This is the time to take risks. And even if I was older, I come from Latin America, and I don't know if it's my immigrant mindset, but I'm like, this is Canada. This is like the best country, because even if I don't do well and I take this risk of quitting and trying to do my art, I can have the employment insurance. Or the worst case scenario, I can work at Tim Hortons. I could work part-time and still pursue my professional career in something that I love, or to monetize my art. So assess what are your risks? What are you truly risking? Now I'm married and I have a kid, I have a mortgage. So maybe I wouldn't have taken the same decision had it been now. So you have to assess your own situation and can I do this? Can I do this part-time? Now the third item is, make a list of what's in your favor. I would do that list right now as you're listening to me. So make a list of what's in your favor. to me, living in Canada was number one. Again, it's a safe country. It's a country where there are comedians doing it full time. It's a huge city. It's a cultural melting pot. The worst thing, again, I could work at Tim Hortons, I could work at Subway, or I could claim employment insurance. So the worst case scenario is not that bad. So I was trying to, as you can see, I was trying to justify this. And at the same time, I left all the doors I left all the doors open at Scotiabank, where I worked at for 7 years, so that I could go back if I quote unquote failed in this new venture. Now we're going on to the next slide, which is, okay, planning is absolutely key. Let's say you've made the decision to quit your job or to do it part-time or to pursue this professionally in the next 5 to 10 years. So the planning is key. And this is where I think myself and my business partner, Huang, we did a very good job. Now, in all fairness, our income went down, to be a totally open book. Our income went down 70% in the first year, but we had already planned for it. Not that much, but we had already planned for an income decrease. So what was I going to do? Well, how did I plan? I saved up for 6 months before I quit. I moved to a smaller place. I cut Uber expenses, going out to restaurants, drinking alcohol at bars. So I saved up at like a bunch of money and cut all unnecessary expenses if I really wanted to set myself up for success. So step number one in the planning would be set a timeline of when you will make the full-time jump, if you want to make that full-time jump. If you want to make a part-time, then set a timeline, set a specific date. To me, that was 7 months away. I made a decision in September of 2016, and I said I was going to quit in April 5th of 2017. Why? Because in that case for me, that was the day, specifically the day I needed to be able to meet the days for me to be able to apply for Canadian citizenship. So I applied for citizenship on April 4th, I quit on April 5th, and on April 6th, I went on a 3-week comedy tour in Latin America. So again, I saved up, I moved to a smaller place, spoke to my closest circle, in that case, my then girlfriend, now wife, if she would support me, and I cut all unnecessary expenses. My second advice to you would be to make a splash. Now we're starting to move into the marketing side of it, because it's very important that if you want to be able to monetize your art or pivot or reinvent yourself, even if it's really scary, you need to make a splash. You need to make sure everyone knows, because as cheesy as it sounds, the universe rewards action and people will root for you. So for us, the splash announcement was the tour. We're quitting and we're going on a 3-week tour to Colombia, Miami, and Costa Rica. And we'll let everyone know so that they know we exist. I'm going to talk a little bit more about marketing and networking in the next couple slides, but I just wanted to briefly touch on that. The next step, which was critical in our key planning, is when it comes to the art or your service or your product, what is my cash cow? And this could evolve. This was pretty significant for us. So we thought that our cash cow would be comedy shows, but it turned out that it wasn't. The thing that has given us most recurring income is the comedy workshops. As you can see in the slide here, you can see that was all the graduating public speaking through comedy workshop graduating classes that we had in our first year. All those 8 classes of 7 or 8 students, that was all the people that joined in our first year. And that was pretty significant for us because it would happen every month and a half or 2 months. But the shows, not a lot of people would attend it as we did them more often. At the beginning, everyone wants to support you, which is cool. But then less people start to go to your shows. That's why you have to market to other people that are not just your friends and family. So think about, what is your cash cow? Where could you get more recurring income from your star product or service? And get that going immediately. Whether it's a course, whether it's a show, get it going immediately. As again, we thought it was going to be the shows, but it was the workshops. And it doesn't matter if you don't know right now. Just launch a product or a service, even if 2 people join, even if 1 people join, even if you only get $30 out of it. Just launch it, and you will learn so much from it that it'll be totally worth it. Now, here is one of the $1 million tips that I'm going to give you. $1 trillion tips that I think was probably one of the best decisions that we made. So the title of the product is absolutely key. Now, I know that a lot of us artists are like, no, I don't want to appeal to the corporate market. I don't want to appeal to companies or professionals. I want people to come to me, and my art is my art, or my service is my service. But I wanted to make money as well as my art, because I wanted the money to be able to subsidize my art. I wanted the money to be able to buy me time so that I could do my art for many years to come, because everyone has got bills to pay, right? So the title of the product or workshop or whatever you're going to launch is key. Apart from your art, you're going to continue doing your art, but if you want to have like a star product or a cash cow, maybe something that you teach, the title is key. So pick something that people can put on their resumes, or that their companies can potentially pay for, or that it benefits their well-being or their relaxation, or something that really benefits their lifestyle and well-being. It made all the difference for us. So here's the difference. We started off as comedians, and we continue to be comedians, but the product, we could have called it Comedy Workshop. But here's the thing. Nobody wants to be a comedian. Like 99.999999999% of society, let's say, in Toronto or in the world, they don't want to be comedians. But they want to be better public speakers. And public speaking is something that is really well seen in offices, in corporate environments, in the nonprofit sector, because you have to convince people. And this is something that you can put on your resume. So for example, instead of naming our workshop Comedy Workshop, we named it Public Speaking, and in little letters, through comedy workshop. So public speaking in big, through comedy little, and then workshop in big. So that the first thing that people saw would be public speaking, and then they could justify that to themselves. And public speaking workshops, because it's communication, and it could be useful for sales or network. I mean, for sales and communication at work, and for influencing people. A lot of companies, the companies where our students work at, they pay for our workshops. They pay for the workshop for their employee. So as you see in the slide, we started off only in Spanish, even though not a lot of people speak Spanish in Toronto, but that's what we had. So that's why I'm saying launch something quick in the next 2 months. Whatever you can only do so much with what you have, but we learned so much. So at the beginning, we launched it in Spanish, as you can see in the yellow flyer there, and it was called Public Speaking Through Comedy. And it is still called Public Speaking Through Comedy, but now we also teach it in English, and we also teach it online. So again, this is one of the things that we learned the most. If we wanted to make money, we wanted to make sure that a lot of people could take our workshop. So if you want to copy that or write that, make some notes, do it, because it really, I think it was the one thing that helped us survive the first year, and it continues to make us survive, because that is our best product. We've taught over 500-600 professionals how to become confident speakers in over 5 countries now. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because success is just marketing and innovation. And you have to network, you have to showcase yourself. Nobody can really buy your product or your art if they don't know that you exist. So this slide is how to network and showcase yourself. Okay, so as you can see, a big part of what we do is community. We want to meet a lot of people. We want to impact a lot of people so that they can tell more people and they can join our courses. So item number one on this slide would be a very big distinction if you want to be able to sell your art effectively. Obviously, your art should be good, but one thing that we understood is that we are in the relationships business of doing your product. You are in the relationships business of doing your product. This is how I see everything. We are in the relationships business of doing our product. Anyone can probably teach comedy. Anyone can probably teach public speaking, but can everyone provide your level of care? Can anyone teach it the way you teach it? Can anyone connect how you connect with your students or with your clients? So we are in the relationship business of selling our art. In our case, of helping people become better public speakers. And how do you do amazing networking? I mean, there's no straightforward answer to this, but one thing that has helped me significantly is understanding that the way that we do better networking is when there is an uncommon commonality between myself and the other person. What is an uncommon commonality? It means that we already have something in common. So for example, networking would be a lot more effective. Let's say between myself and a random person, it might go well depending on the conversation, but it would be a lot more effective if the other person loves comedy. If the other person also loves soccer, that's another uncommon commonality. If the other person speaks Spanish like me, that's even a bigger uncommon commonality, so that's even better. If they are from Costa Rica, that's even better. If we attended the same high school, that's even better. Now, I'm giving an extreme example, but you get the point. So what do I mean by this? Try to find your own tribe of people who are passionate about the same things that you are. So, and what are you passionate? How can you find these people? On Instagram, on meetup.com. You can attend things that make you, that you're passionate about and talk to people there. The second point would be, once you launch your product or service, or you start selling your art or position your art, or you start doing this new thing during the coronavirus pandemic, you need to over deliver with your product. What do I mean by this? Whatever you charge, give them even more value. People need to love you, they need to love your product, and they need to love your company or whatever you're representing. But even when this is accomplished, if people don't know about you, they'll never buy. So it's very important that you do a lot of marketing. You have to be on social media. I know a lot of people, especially us artists, we don't like to be on Instagram or other platforms because, I don't know, we want people to come to us, or I'm an artist, I'm not a marketer, but you have to. As I said, success is basically marketing and innovation. Get something that already exists, give it your touch, and market the hell out of it. We, like myself, Juan and Isaac, we still give out cards, physical cards, like business cards on the subway every time we hear someone speak Spanish on the subway. So what you could do if you're a painter, you could go to other art galleries or other art expos and give people your card. Like we've done it on the subway, we've done it on buses, we've done it at other people's comedy shows. We've done it where if we hear someone speak Spanish, we'll give them a card. And yeah, you're gonna get hundreds of no's, but you're gonna get a bunch of yeses as well. And the more you get out of your comfort zone and start getting used to the no's, it'll get you closer to the yeses. We still send out hundreds of messages on Instagram and Facebook every month. We've started to compile a newsletter. So we're doing everything, even if we're 3 years into doing this full time. Again, you 1000% need to have Instagram or the social media platform that adjusts best to your service or your product. I mean, if you want to teach salsa lessons, maybe TikTok is better. Also Instagram. If you're doing stuff about tidying up apartments or things that apply more to Pinterest, then get a Pinterest account. And then a website is also very important, but it's not life or death. We've had a basic website for the last 3 years, and only now are we improving it. So don't think that you have to get like a designer, a website. You have to do everything at once before you launch your first product. No, launch your first thing, and then you can do the other things progressively. Document and post everything. A lot of people that I know, especially artists, they only want to post their art or whatever looks amazing. But like Gary Vee says on social media, someone who I follow a lot, is documenting your journey is even better, because people love the journey. They love to root for you. So document everything. And again, they love the journey more than the destination. And when they see others buying your product or attending your events, they're going to come and they're going to want to buy it as well, because they feel like they're missing out. And it's also social proof. So if you post about something where people are at your event, or they maybe just bought a painting of yours, or they bought something that you did, or they love something that you did, document it, post it, because it's going to get people commenting, it's going to get people tagging other friends. A question that we get a lot is, if I'm starting, should I do it for free? Because at the beginning, not a lot of people want to pay you. Or should I accept exchanges? Or should I always charge money? It's up to you and your cost of production. Like in our first 2 years doing comedy full time, we would do lots of things for free, and we would do lots of exchanges to become more known in the community or popular. After all, it didn't cost us that much to do a show or a workshop. We just had to show up. But maybe it does cost you a lot of time to create something because of buying the products and everything. So it depends. But I would argue that at the beginning, do a lot of things for free and accept a lot of exchanges, because you're also teaching yourself and you're also getting a lot of experience. Now in our third year, we know we're very good at what we do. So we always charge, probably 90% of the time we charge, unless we can derive very clear value from an exchange or something else. When it comes to pricing, it's always a negotiation. So don't be scared. And also don't jump the gun when you're having conversations with people who might want to buy your product. So don't jump the gun. Let them talk. And if they don't mention it, ask if they have a budget. And don't be scared to charge a lot or more than you think that your product is worth, because it's always a negotiation. And artists, at least Latinos, I don't know the other cultures, but at least Latinos, when we come here, we think for some reason that our art or whatever we do is less, like worth less than market value because we're not Canadian or whatever. For some reason, we don't like to charge a lot. But my advice to you is charge more than you think is fair. And if they can pay you, okay, you win. And if they cannot, okay, then you'll still negotiate and end up probably higher than what you initially thought. Again, in these pictures of the slides, you can see that there's a lot of people. There's a lot of students. We do a lot of workshops for the community. We work with youth at risk from the Keele and Finch area, and we organize workshops for them. We've taken them to LinkedIn. We work with seniors as well. So create a community and also volunteer, because these partnerships will help you get known as well. And they have a lot of connections that can be very helpful for you in the future. In one of the bottom pictures is myself and Juan in Malaysia doing a TEDx talk. And this, telling our story of how we quit, basically what I'm telling you, but in 18 minutes. And how we got this is because we organized a free resume critique workshop for Hispanic newcomers, which has nothing to do with comedy. But since we worked at a bank and we interviewed a lot of people, we knew how to do resumes, how to interview well. And since we know Spanish and English, we help people, newcomers, to translate their resumes from Spanish to English. And we won a grant. And then the agency that granted us the grant loved it so much that we were invited to a national conference for young leaders. And there I met someone, because I arrived early to the event, who turned out to be the organizer for the TEDx in Malaysia, and she invited us. So none of this would have happened had we not created a free workshop for Hispanic newcomers, because we really wanted to support our community. So again, it's not always just charging and making money, but also adding value to your community. And the last point on this, in getting social proof and showcasing yourself, is you have to please do this right now if you can. Get testimonials. Whatever people say about your product or your service or your workshops, get testimonials. Whether it's by WhatsApp or have them on your email. But what I recommend, which we did it very late, only like a year ago, we opened up a Google business account, and you just need to open it. You don't need to be a formal business. And people can leave testimonials on your business. So whenever people look for you, it could just be your name. Whenever people look for you on Google, which people will do a lot if you want to do this part-time or full-time, they could see the testimonials that people have left on your art, on your service, on your product. And that'll help people buy your product because they can see that you're actually very good versus someone that doesn't really exist online. And then people start being suspicious. Is this person actually really good? I can't really find them. But if you have a lot of testimonials from different people saying that you're actually very good, it's going to significantly help your case. So if you can do that today, open a Google business account. It made wonders for us. And it's probably single-handedly the thing that has helped us get corporate workshops and events the most. Okay, now we're going into business tips during COVID. And then I'm going to address some of the things that you said you were interested in when you signed up for this workshop. Again, if you have any questions right now, just interrupt me. Okay, perfect. So business tips during COVID. Here's when we pivoted. And I think this is very relevant right now because you might be pivoting. You might not have a job right now. You might be on the fence about creating something new. And you may think that whatever you do is not, you can't monetize it online or you can't do it online. And we thought that our workshops would not be doable online. And our corporate events and our comedy shows would not be doable online via Zoom. But since we didn't have, like our industry was affected, we were like, well, we have nothing to lose. And it turned out to be an insane success. Now, in terms of what we do, we had three pillars. We had comedy shows, we had the workshops, and then we had corporate events. We always wanted to do something online, but we're like, oh, we're not good at stuff online. It's not going to work out. The in-person factor is always best. And then the pandemic showed up and we started doing it online. It turned out to be an amazing success because we just tried it. So try it. I mean, worst case scenario, you end up where you were before. And the best case scenario, you now have a new income stream. And the best thing is that through our Instagram, we'd been showcasing our workshops, our in-person workshops for 3 years. But a lot of people who follow us because we're from Latin America, they're also in Latin America and they can't take them in Toronto. But now, because it's on Zoom, we have people from Colombia, from Mexico, from Peru, from Calgary, Vancouver, North Carolina, everyone, a lot of people who have known about this and couldn't take them in person, now they're taking them online. And it's become a significant positive thing for us because now we have a new income stream. And once this comes to the new normal, we're going to continue doing the online workshops. Also, second point here is, I'm not sure how far advanced you're in what you're doing, but consider e-commerce immediately. What does e-commerce mean? It means that you can sell your product online. And I don't mean like a workshop via Zoom. I mean like you can ship whatever you sell to someone across the country or through the US or through Latin America or wherever. And there's two very, very, very easy e-commerce platforms. One is called Shopify, which you've probably heard of. And the other is Figaro. Figaro with a Y, Fygaro. And it's easier than you can imagine to do this. So if you sell art, you sell paintings, or you sell mini sculptures, or you sell, teddy bears, you can easily set up a e-commerce page on your website or even through WhatsApp, and they can help you ship it. So if you don't know how to do this or you're confused, I can refer you to someone who knows. Just add me on Instagram at Stephan Dyer or on LinkedIn, and I'll show you. And a third thing that we learned in terms of marketing our product, and a big change that we just recently did, is that we are not the heroes. For the longest time, as you can see in this slide, in the first slides, myself and Huang were on the cover of every single workshop because, we taught it. But now, because we read this book called Story Brand, and it essentially says that you are not the hero, you are the guide. And you want to make your past clients the heroes. So as you can see in this slide, we have Virginia, she's from Venezuela, and now our students are on the cover of the workshops. So we're making them the heroes so that potential clients can see themselves. And essentially we're making our clients, our alumni, now our brand ambassadors. There's a brand that does this brilliantly in Toronto. It's called Barrio. They do just like shirts, like Latino shirts that say Barrio or Latino shirts. And their Instagram is just all their clients wearing their t-shirts. So they don't have to pay models. And at the end of the day, you make other people look good, and your clients can actually see themselves doing the workshop because it's actually people like them. So it's encouraging. And the last thing before I go on to the last slide is we also launched an improv workshop for companies, again, showcasing past students, showcasing other students. As you can see here in the bigger picture of this slide, we have an improv for team building for companies. And we just showed people doing it, regular people from home, working from home, and it's become a massive success because everyone can do it. And now we've done it with a lot of companies. So again, just try it. The worst case scenario is you end up where you already are. The best case scenario is you have a new income stream and a lot of new brand ambassadors. And now the last slide, I'm going to take a couple of the comments that you wrote when you signed up for the workshop, and I'm just going to address them. So one of them was strategies for pivoting art, career, and entrepreneurial advice for the arts industry. Again, you have to treat yourself like a business and not just as an artist. So continue creating your art, but stand up for it and charge accordingly. If you don't know exactly where to go, do that little Venn diagram of 3 circles. Literally write everything under what you're good at, and then another one of what you're passionate about, and then another one is what the world needs or what people need or what is their demand for. And if you have something in common between the 3, that's where there's a huge opportunity. Another thing that you mentioned when you signed up is, how can I grow my audience virtually? And I want you to Google this after this workshop. Google $1.80 Instagram strategy. And it's Genius by Gary Vaynerchuk. And this is one of the ways that I've grown my Instagram to almost 20,000 followers. So one of the ways that you can do it is you can add people that are interested in what you are interested, or that are common, you have uncommon commonality. So maybe I'll add Latinos in Toronto, and they'll add me back because in my bio, they can see that I'm also a Latino in Toronto. So you could add a lot of people, hope for them to come to your profile and see that you have something really cool to offer, and they'll add you. But the other one, which is the $1.80 Instagram strategy, is genius, again by Gary Vaynerchuk, which translates to basically leaving your personal 2 cents on the top 9 trending Instagram posts for 10 different hashtags. So essentially, comment on posts that have hashtags that you're interested in. So for example, I would comment on hashtags like stand-up comedy. I would comment on public speaking. I would comment on a lot of things. And there you go. Oh my God. Since I was sharing my screen, I couldn't really see the chat, and I can see that, okay, a lot of people are commenting. Okay, so yeah, Google that $1.80 Instagram strategy. The next one is learn how to sell my art. And these 2 things I can give you for free. I mean, I don't even sell them, but I just have them and I can give them to you for free. How to sell my art. So message me via LinkedIn and I'll share with you the Wolf of Wall Street course for free. It's 10 videos and he teaches you brilliantly how to sell. Or you can buy the Closer's Survival Guide book by Grant Cardone, and he teaches you like 125 ways of closing a deal. Because a lot of people sell, but they don't close a deal. So he shows you how to close a deal. And the last one that they wrote when they signed up was, I want to work as a freelancer with my own business in the arts. So the first thing that comes to mind when it comes to freelancing is these 2 websites. Maybe you already know them, but is Fiverr with a V and a double R, Fiverr and Upwork. You can basically hire anyone on these websites to do anything. And mostly art, graphic design, podcast stuff, amazing slide. But you can also offer your art there, and you can get paid by people all across the world, and it's really, really good. So Upwork and Fiverr. Okay, so I'm gonna type these in the chat box. So Fiverr and Upwork, and then $1.80 Instagram strategy. Google that. And now I'm not sure if anyone has any questions.
Yeah, thanks so much, Stephan. I think I'm just gonna look at the chat box and see if we touched on everything that people typed in at the beginning. How to connect with partners more intentionally during COVID with recovery and rebuilding in mind.
Yeah. So how to connect with partners more intentionally during COVID? What I'm doing is I'm not asking people to buy my stuff, or I'm not going directly to message about my things. I will post publicly, but the people that I'm interested in and who I want to foster relationships or recovery and rebuilding in mind, I just literally go and private message them. How are you doing? How is your business? Is there something that I can help you with? Or I will also comment and engage in their posts in a positive way. And that is also contributing as well.
Okay, great. And then sell my art and products, hone in on my improv. Okay, this is when you were asking what people were looking to do. I'm interested in freelance writing as well as eventually starting a creative business, connecting youth to arts education, how to pivot from working in the arts industry to adjacent industries using my creative arts and facilitation skills to create meaningful online arts engagement and monetize that opportunity.
So yeah, let me see. So how to pivot from working in the arts industry to adjacent industries using my creative arts and facilitation skills, amazing, to create meaningful online arts engagement and monetize that opportunity. So the first thing that comes to mind, Sonia, is literally writing that on LinkedIn and see what people have to comment on it. The best thing for me over the last year and a half is literally just speaking my mind on LinkedIn, and the best things have come from it because the people who have the money are on LinkedIn. The people who might have the opportunities are on LinkedIn. On Facebook, I have my cousins, I have some friends, and they're not necessarily looking to do business or to, you can also post it on Facebook as well. But I find that if you ask for people's advice on LinkedIn or private message them, amazing things can come from it. And the other thing that I would do is message the people who you've worked with in the past and see if they have opportunities where you can offer your time and your facilitation skills. And the way I started, I just offered my time and I did it for free at the beginning. And then over the next years, when similar stuff would arise, they would call me and they would now have a budget to pay me. So it's trying new stuff out.
Great, thank you. And if there's any other questions, you're free to unmute yourself and ask with your video cam on or off. So we do have a couple more minutes. Please share any of your own tips, even if you have anything that you'd like to share.
Thank you, Francis. Thank you. I see that Sonia wrote, what was helpful in you getting clear about your branding? This is really good. I'm currently going through this process again because it's evolved. I thought at the beginning it's evolved, especially because at the end of the day, you are your brand. So to me, it's been very important that I'm true to myself and I express in ways that, like on stage, I express very similar to how I express in person. Recently, I've been trying to do this exercise where I'm like, okay, I'm creating a podcast. If this podcast was a person, what would this person look like? How would it speak? How would it dress? Then another thing that I'm doing for my branding is, what do I love? So what other artists do I love? What are my core values? So I think that once you start to know yourself and do a lot of self-awareness exercises, it will help you in your branding. But at the same time, it's a process. So I didn't even have a website. I'm even creating my own website now. The whole thing that I did for these 3 years was just Instagram. And I would post on LinkedIn and Facebook. But only after these 3 years that I've gotten to know myself and know what people like about me and where I feel more comfortable in this space, now I've started to invest a little bit more on my branding. And it's totally fine, because had I done it as soon as I quit my job, I probably would have redone it again 6 months later, because it evolves. So give yourself the opportunity to quote unquote fail and learn a lot more about yourself, and then you can start your branding. But I think don't wait to have the perfect website, graphic design, product, and to launch something. Just launch it, and trust me, people will support you, they'll root for you, and the universe will conspire in your favor.
Well, thanks so much, Stephan. It's been wonderful. You've shared some really great advice, and I do encourage everyone to also register for our online workshop that's starting tomorrow called Countdown to Business, and also the panel session to the Countdown Business online workshops. The advice that I'll share is that it's really helpful and important for you to constantly be learning about business and creative entrepreneurship and taking online courses, you know, picking up books, reading more about marketing, branding. The more that you take in, it'll eventually help you. And I'm sure, Stephan, you've had throughout the years, you've had to, you know, pick up these books and pick up these skills on your own at your own time, and it's part of the process. So
yes.
So I really, it's great that you're all here and you're all participating. It's your first step towards your final goal. So congratulations on attending and really trying to make your creative entrepreneurship goals become a reality. So thanks everyone. Thank you, Stephan, for joining.
Thank you.
And you know, this has been really wonderful, and we hope to see you again. And please connect with Stephan if you have any other further questions, and you can also feel free to email us at info@workingculture.ca. You can also email me at mona@workingculture.ca. And I hope to learn more about you and your work and the kinds of endeavors that you take on. So thanks, everyone.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Message me on LinkedIn if you have any questions, and I will organize a call or help you in whatever way I can.
Awesome. Take care.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye.